Hi! Welcome to Surviving Schizophrenia with Steven. My name is Steven. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm here with my dad today and we're going to talk about how I feel when I'm tired. And if you can't tell by looking at me, I am exhausted right now. Absolutely exhausted, and we wanted to talk about that while I am feeling exhausted. So
welcome back. I'm Steve, Steven's dad. And so, Steven came off shooting that 4.3 mile exercise walk video a few days ago. That just aired Friday.
Yes.
And, Steven was really excited, and I was too after we filmed that. And then, Steven, you've been very tired.
Yeah, and not just because it was over a 4-mile walk. It's also the mental aspect of it all. Mostly because I talked for 35 minutes. Out of the hour and a half I was out, and I recorded the whole time. That took a lot out of me, and it took a while to hit me. I wasn't this tired yesterday. Oh, I was starting to get this tired maybe yesterday, but
right.
The days before, no, I was pretty good. I was doing very good, actually.
Yeah, you were. For the...
sorry. Just to be clear, my mood is not that bad, like, at all. I'm fine there. I'm just tired, not cranky, really, I don't think.
Yeah, no, you're not cranky at all.
Yeah.
But you were just really tired. I can see it in your face.
It's on my eyes.
So I just, Steven was in the TV room. I was upstairs doing a little bit of work, and I just came downstairs and said, "Hey, Steven, how you doing?" And, he goes, "I'm really tired, Dad." And I said, "Wow, you look exhausted." So why don't we shoot a video?
And this is that. This is very impromptu, but I figured it was a good chance to show you what I'm like when I'm tired.
So the tiredness, Steven, what would you attribute that to?
Probably a lot of things. High heart rate would be one of the things that comes to mind. Sedation from the medication, that rhymed. And just general stress and exhaustion when having schizophrenia, as well as the fact that I did go for a very long walk, and like I said, I talked most of that time while I was recording. That took a lot out of me.
Right, and we are concerned about Steven's heart rate. I mean, on that 4.3 mile walk, I think at one point it got to 164 beats per minute.
Something like that.
And that's a fairly high heart rate.
Incredibly high, even for exercising. It's kind of high.
Right, it's kind of a high heart rate. Do you have your watch on now?
I do not actually.
Right. Have you seen, Steven, have you monitored your heart rate?
Yeah, I think it says my average heart rate's about 140 something or so.
Average while you're not exercising?
Average in general, yeah.
But it sounds like it's taking an average over the course of you exercising and not exercising. Is that...
It can take it at any point, but my average heart rate in general is like 140 something.
Right, yeah.
Maybe 150.
The average, wow, that's high. Okay, that's...
Not 150, but 140, sorry.
Okay.
That is still high.
That is still high. I mean...
To give a reference, when I was younger, before my schizophrenia, I had a traumatic event at the ocean, actually. I was in a sailing class, I guess. Right. And I capsized outside the pier in a storm. I don't actually remember much of that. I do remember though that, a few days later? Something like that. My heart rate went over 150 while I was watching Pokemon, and that's not good. So I think we went to the hospital or something.
Right, we went to the hospital.
So a 150 heart rate is not what you want.
Right. Yeah, Steven did have that traumatic experience. It was he was in sailing a dinghy in Redondo Beach Harbor, yeah. And it flipped over. Mm-hmm. We didn't see that,
no.
But it flipped over apparently, and you were alone in the dinghy.
Yeah,
there were
have drowned. Probably.
Right, there were other people around, but that's a very scary experience. And you have a sail, so if it turtles and flips completely over, you can get tangled up. You've got to get out from under the dinghy and swim up.
And they taught us how to do that, but in a storm especially, that's
right.
Dicey.
Right. So there were swells and wind, and it was right outside the harbor. And that harbor entrance can be very scary, and also obviously when you turtle a small boat like that, So I think that caught up with Stephen a couple of days later.
Yeah.
Of realizing, whoa, that was scary, and then your heart rate shot up.
Actually, I think in that Pokemon movie, it's from the 90s now, I think, there's a storm in the ocean, and I think that's what triggered it.
Interesting. You're thinking back on that. So, how are you feeling otherwise today? Any anxiety?
Not a lot. No more than usual. Pretty good.
Right.
Just mostly tired. Speaking of Pokemon, I was just playing Pokemon, so I know more. Well, I love those games anyway, but it helps me relax too. So no, I'm good otherwise. Just tired.
Now we shot a little. You shot some video a couple weeks ago when there was a homecoming.
Yes.
At the high school, which is across the street from our house, and we can hear when there was a homecoming, I think football game, and then they had the homecoming party.
After party, yeah.
All right, after party, and those are quite loud. We live across the street from the high school. You can hear that inside our house, and Stephen recorded. You recorded a little bit there. Can you tell? You say talk about that a little bit.
Basically, because I didn't have a normal high school experience, when I do hear certain events at the high school across the street where everyone's having a lot of fun, having a really good time, enjoying themselves, loud music's playing, you can hear them having a good time, that's really hard for me because it makes me realize what I missed out on.
Stephen, how do you move forward? How do you step? Can you forget kind of what happened and move forward that way? I mean, how do you move forward with such a traumatic illness that you have?
That's a tough question. You can't forget, even if you try. I tried. It's not something I can do. Literally. There's always something in the back of my mind that's going to trigger that. But I think, I don't know, it's not easy. I think what I do is I try to distract myself. Because there's always going to be a part of me that thinks, what if? And so I have to try to tune that out. What I did then was put in my earbuds and actually play Pokemon. Basically, just try to distract myself from it. And when I do think back about that, about those times that I missed, it doesn't help much in the moment, but I also try to think about, well, two things. One, I don't know it would have been a good experience. And two, it's in the past, try to move on. That doesn't help much, but I think it's a good way to think for me.
Now you said just a second ago, what if?
Yeah.
Did you mean what if you fall back into psychosis?
No, sorry.
Okay, no. Yeah, that's what I understood.
I mean, I'm sorry, I'm very tired now. I'm not making complete sense.
No, that's fine.
I said what if. I meant, what if I had that experience?
Oh, okay.
That would have been... I don't remember how I said that now.
Yeah,
I didn't mean anything related to schizophrenia.
Okay,
I meant my experience in high school.
Right, you were thinking, what if you had that experience?
Yes.
So moving,
And actually, because we're talking about this, maybe at the end of the video we'll add in that clip that I recorded.
Yeah, I think
we'll throw that in at the end of the video.
It's a pretty
so
short.
You can see, it's very short, but so you can just see my experience then as well.
Right, I think that clip was shot in the, you were in the TV room?
I was in the TV room. I think it was kind of quieted down by that point for a brief period of time. It's still going on. And I recorded how I was feeling at the time.
Now, Stephen, if you look at the video that was just posted on the exercise, 4.30 miles, and when Stephen came home, we were actually out. Maria and I were at Loyola Law School,
right, yes.
And for an event, we were gone for about 3 to 4 hours, and Stephen shot that video. He was out, I think, for about an hour and a half, holding a GoPro camera and recording that video that has been posted, 4.3 mile exercise, schizophrenia. Mm-hmm. One will look at that, I think, and legitimately say, do you really have schizophrenia? Or put it a little different, slightly. You do, but let's put that a little bit differently. Why? What prevents you? You look so healthy there. You went almost, you went 4.5 miles. What prevents you, Stephen, from moving forward? in your life with other things, like say, you know, we don't have to say all the things, but you know, employment would be one. You know, engaging in social activities with other people, and wanting to be around other people. I don't want to put too many things out there.
Yeah. So I think it's preventing me a lot of things. Kind of like with right now, when I do push myself, it always comes back like this, where I haven't exercised in a few days and I want to, and I will get back to it, but because that took so much out of me, I have to recover and recuperate. So if I did that every day, it wouldn't last.
Right. So after shooting that video on the 4.3 miles, you didn't go back out the next day or even the following day.
I wanted to the next day, but I got busy. I mentioned in that video I had one of my pieces of photography entered in an art show at the library, so I had to go deliver it. There was issues with that. They didn't accept it, so I had to get a different frame, because the frame wasn't right, and all that stuff happened. And then this caught up with me and hit me.
That's right. That's right. So you had some other things going on.
And as far as you said, getting out to seeing other people and friends, I stand by what I said, that counts for that too. But also at the same time, there is still a block, I guess, like mentally, where there's a lot of things, but I guess some days I feel like I can't go places for either physical and or mental reasons as well. Also, I feel more comfortable alone usually, and as well as that for work, I don't think I could handle being around all that stress, however that may be. For instance, even just if I had to eat lunch with coworkers, I couldn't really do that. To having to deal with, if I worked at, say, like a Starbucks, for example, as a barista or something, and I don't know if I could handle dealing with people like that every day, or even multiple times a week.
Right. Well, a couple of things there. One, Stephen, might be that working might be remote work, so it may not be.
That's true, actually.
You know, but putting that aside and putting work aside, you touched on social isolation.
Yeah.
And that feeling. Most people want to be around other people. We're very social, right?
In general, people are pretty social, I think.
Right.
I'm not really anymore.
You were
before.
You were before the onset of your schizophrenia. You were very social.
That's for sure.
And so how would you describe, that feeling now of, not wanting to be around other people? And it's not all the time, I guess.
No, it's not all the time.
How would you describe that, though? Because let me put this in a little more perspective. I mean, you have the ability to go anywhere you want to go, right? I mean, you can take the car out anytime you want to take the car. If you want to do that, we'll take you wherever you want to go. You can see people, you can be with people, that's family, other people. You can go to birthday parties if you wanted to, family events, all kinds of social gatherings. Could potentially be church even, a number of different activities that you could engage in. We could take you in. That's all open and available.
I do know.
It's widely open. It's just wide open.
Yeah.
So how would you describe that? Because I think it's very hard. It's even hard, I think, for us as parents to understand that. And we've been dealing with this for 10 years now, so we have, I think, a better understanding of why this is. Right. I mean, you could have a girlfriend if you wanted to have a girlfriend. Just
not that simple.
It's not that simple, but you have to get out first.
Yes, that's true.
But putting that aside, how would you describe that? Is it a mental block, or is it more than that?
It's more than that.
Okay.
That's for sure.
Okay,
it's a mental block. It's a discomfort thing. It's a fear thing. It's a stress thing. It's an anxiety thing. It's a I don't think I relate to people thing. It's I could go on, but I'm blanking right now.
No, that's great, Stephen. You mentioned 5 or 6 things there. That's it's complicated.
It's schizophrenia.
Right.
And it's a lot of things, and it doesn't always make sense.
I think in part it's that your life has been so different in the last decade, different from other people's lives, and you've had such trauma. Yes. Maybe that's the you would naturally feel, one would naturally feel that you you're not going to relate to other people, or they can't relate to you. Is that part of it?
Yes, that's definitely a large part of it. Yes.
Right, and that probably,
that's a good way to put it.
okay, and that probably then causes that, in your mind, that anxiety, or causes you to think that that's going to be an anxious situation if you were in that situation.
That's probably a lot of it, but there's more to it that I just can't even explain.
Right. I mean, it's a tough, schizophrenia is a tough illness.
Yeah.
It's a very tough illness. It can at times look like, hey, there's not a problem here.
Or like I'm lazy because I'm not doing other stuff, or
right.
anything like that. It's
right.
not that though.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So that's, it's a tough illness, and I think a lot of mental illnesses are that way.
That's for sure. It's not exclusive to schizophrenia here.
Right. Sometimes they call it an invisible illness. It's hard for other people to see. I mean, if you came into our home and interacted with Stephen, or saw Stephen on the track out there, or on the trail, you would not think he had a problem.
Probably not. No.
You would not see. I don't think you would see an issue in that moment there.
Right.
It would only be later, and through more interaction. Do you think that's accurate, Stephen?
I think that is accurate. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
This is a very impromptu video. I think we cover a lot of different subjects here.
Yeah.
And I think that's all we got for this video.
Right. So you're going to queue up then at the end of this video, as you said?
Yes. After I say my outro, you're gonna see at the very end of this video. It'll be what I recorded that night, I guess, evening.
Right.
When the homecoming event was happening at the high school.
So what are we going to label this video?
I don't know.
Rambling.
We'll figure this out.
Yeah.
But by the time you see it, we'll have a title.
We'll have a title. Well, thank you very much. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for watching.
Thank you very
We
much.
both hope you have a happy and healthy rest of your day. And we hope to see you in the next video.
Have a great day. We'll see you in the next video.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, welcome to Surviving Schizophrenia with Stephen. My name is Stephen. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm feeling really sad right now. I live very close to a high school, and it is homecoming right now. And I just hear the music across the street. It's kind of quiet right now, but it's been blaring for a while. And that makes me really sad because I, of course, and if you don't know this, if you haven't seen my previous videos, I didn't go to high school, a normal high school I should say. My schizophrenia happened before then. And so when times like this come up and I hear all the high schoolers across the high school having a great time, enjoying their lives, it makes me really sad because I missed out on all that. And I wish them the very best. There's no animosity towards them anyway. It just makes me sad that I missed that experience. And it also brings back memories of, well, I didn't really graduate from 8th grade, but I did go to the after party, for lack of a better word. And I'd known those kids there since kindergarten, actually. And they'd known me since then as well, of course. And I fell ill in the 6th grade, so I didn't graduate middle school, but I still went to the graduation party. And I just remember being there, incredibly stressed out, even though I wanted to be there at the same time. I was just standing there. Everyone's dancing, having a good time, laughing, having fun. I literally was just standing there in the middle of everyone dancing, too stressed out to move or do anything else for, I don't know how long, maybe an hour, maybe more. Eventually I just left. Actually, it was the last time I saw some of those classmates of mine. And that makes me really sad too, so especially when I hear events happening at the high school, like this homecoming, I get really down and really sad about all that I've missed. Yeah, I don't want to keep dwelling on this right now or make this too negative of a video, so I'm going to stop here. But I hope this gave some insight into how I feel at times, how I can feel when I'm around I guess, high schoolers and kids that are having a good time with their school or whatever it is that they do that I missed out on. Because it's really sad for me. So I don't know what else to say here. I don't want to make this too negative. I don't know, it just makes me sad. And so I'm trying to play some games right now and listen to some music, watch some TV, try to relax, and try not to dwell on all the past that I've missed out on. So I'm going to end that here. I hope you have a happy and healthy rest of your day though, and hope to see you in the next video.